This is Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given is not intended to replace that of your business advisor. Now, let's get down to talking about your business, your success. This is Business Talk.
Well, good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Pete. It's so good to see you again here.
Yes, and for those of you who haven't listened before, this is Business Talk, and we talk about your business. And Michelle and I are business coaches. We have a firm here in Columbus, Ohio with Peg Burley, and we work with a variety of companies around the country, and probably 60% of them are here in Central Ohio.
Yep.
And some of the ones that are out of state, we talk to over the phone or over Skype, and the rest of them, we usually see them face-to-face, but we work with them once a week generally. Some of them are twice a month.
Yeah.
And we help them grow their companies.
Yes, we help them do whatever they need to do to get the goals achieved that they have. And sometimes we help them figure out what those goals are if they aren't sure.
Right. Sometimes they don't have clear goals, so we help them clarify goals, and then we help them get to the goals quicker.
Yes. I like to say,
in every case,
successful businesses, even more successful.
Right. So, there you go. Yeah, that's right. And our businesses are committed to learn. Business owners are committed to learn, as we are. And that's one of the reasons for our show, is to help you guys out there in the audience listen and hopefully take some things from here and apply them in your business and your life and get better results with a little less effort, we hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to do, what is our topic today, Michelle? Maybe you could give us a preview if somebody's driving there so that they pull over to the rest stop and stay for the entire hour and listen to the show.
Yes. And if by any chance you do have to get cut off, you had to pull over and you didn't get to turn us back on, you can always go to takeactionbusinesscoaching.com and see our archived shows.
There you go.
The one you're hearing right now may not be on until next Monday or Tuesday, but it will be there, I promise. And you can see our past shows as well. But the topic we're going to talk about today is about a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and just kind of the concepts that he talks about in there and how we've applied them to different businesses that we've worked with, and even give you an insight on what our why is as far as coaching and how we work with businesses.
And how do you spell his last name? It's
S-I-N-E-K.
Oh, okay. So he's not a cynic either. Yes. He's a very positive guy, right? Okay,
good. I think I'm saying that right.
Okay.
Hopefully so.
So the name of the book again is?
Start With Why.
Start With Why. Great. And one of the things we like to do on our shows is talk about some good news, and we've got a few things here, and I'll just go through them quickly. You have coffee in the morning, right?
Yes,
Michelle?
Yes, I do.
Me too. Look at this headline: Coffee futures hit 12-year low.
Oh, bum bum bum.
Isn't that good? We don't really know why. It just says they've dropped 23% so far this year, dropping below $1 a pound earlier this week, the lowest level since 2006.
Interesting.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
I mean, it could be a weather thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
The declines are sparked by a surging production and sharp decline in the Brazilian real, which is encouraging exports from the world's largest coffee. Okay, so their currency has dropped.
Okay.
So we can buy it cheaper, and we're taking everything they can make.
And
apparently they're producing a ton of it, or lots of tons of it. Cool.
Well,
that's always good news. Look out your other retailers out there. Walmart's testing its own network of independent delivery drivers as it aims to offer home grocery delivery service to 100 metropolitan areas. Well, we'll be in there. By the end of the year, they're going to be delivering groceries. Wow.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably good. I mean, it's...
Yeah, there's plenty of places doing you pull up and they fill your car with groceries, and they're kind of taking it to the next level by bringing it to your house.
Right.
Obviously, people in larger metropolitan areas like New York and stuff are used to grocery delivery.
Right.
But some of us suburban life people...
Right. And it says Amazon and Kroger and Target are all doing similar things with different products, of course, but they're doing the same kind of thing.
Interesting.
Amazon beefs up its fleet of vans. Now, I do this because they're going to order like 20,000 Mercedes vans from Daimler, and each one employing as many as 100 drivers, blah, blah, blah. They're increasing their delivery service. They're getting ready for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Coming. Wow.
Absolutely.
So Amazon is, look at this, Amazon shipping cost. In 2000, it was basically zero. Last year, it was $21 billion. That's That's what it cost to ship Amazon's products last year.
Well, I saw an interesting thing with one of my Amazon boxes recently, a little on topic, off topic, is that they actually had some advertising on the box when I received it the other day. It had an ad for Kellogg's on it. And I don't know if it was a fluke, but I don't think it was. I think it's
probably
another way
That's not
to
a mistake.
make up the shipping costs is to charge people to put ads on it. And it was brilliant because I remember now.
So wages, they're taking a look at this article here. They're looking at wages, increase in take-home pay. They're saying that an average couple would be taking home $53,644 a year in the United States, an increase of about $2,500 or 4.9% over last year, or 70% higher than 2.9% rate of inflation. So between the tax cuts and the economic growth, people are actually doing a little better as far as take-home goes.
Great.
Which is good. And the railroads are cranking, which is usually a really good sign of an economy. Railroads are really doing well. The U.S. economy is galloping along. Great news for companies occupying key transport bottlenecks. So railroads are really busy. Norfolk Southern is the one that's mentioned in this article. And then the last thing is Generation Z. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
we had X, we had Y.
Yes.
And now we got this.
Now we got the Zs,
no.
yes.
Battle-scarred, sober, driven by money, and socially awkward. A 1930s throwback. This is funny. We're not going to go into too much of this, but this would be good for a whole future show. There's a big article about these younger workers coming into the workforce.
Interesting.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
We've done some past shows on the generations, but we certainly have not hit Z too much since they are just coming of age.
Right. Socially awkward. I like that. That's cool.
Oh, poor little Zs.
Poor Zs.
That's because they're stuck at the end, you know?
This is Business Talk, and with Michelle Calcasola and Pete McDowell, and we're talking about a book by Simon Sinek.
Yes.
And it's not C-Y, it's S-I-N-E-K.
Exactly.
And one of our clients talked to me just this past week about this gentleman. He does either podcasts or some other broadcasts, and he said, you've got to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I've never read the book, but we're going to hear about it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll help teach you while we teach the listeners, and hopefully I will inspire you and everyone listening to check out the book. He also has a very famous TED Talk where he gets into kind of the very basics. It's about 18 minutes long, where he gets to the basics of this book. So that's a good way to start. And then if you're interested in that, you can continue on with reading the full book. I would recommend it. So starting with why, in this book, he talks about how our purpose and our beliefs drive what we do. So as far as a business goes, a business really needs to focus on why they got into the business in the first place, why they're there, what they have to do in order to really engage employees. Because if we're able to inspire someone, we give them a sense of purpose or belonging.
So an employee, let's say.
Exactly. Okay. Yes. Or a follower within a organization or a movement of any sort.
Okay.
We really have to inspire and get to that emotional side. So there's two ways. And again, he talks about both as far as a whole business or as a person, as a leader, whether they're leading part of a business or whether they're leading for a movement
or
anything like that. There are two ways typically to influence behavior. The first one is to inspire, and that's hitting the emotional side, and that's really what his focus and drive is for. The second is to manipulate or kind of force people into following you with some benefit
at the point of a gun.
Exactly.
And that's usually not our preferred method.
Right. So with businesses, especially in marketing, a lot of times you'll see them lead with what he talks as their what. So what they have to offer. So that would be...
As a company?
As a company. So either the products or services that they have. So when they're talking to a group and trying to convince that group to purchase from them, they typically are going more in that manipulation scheme of offering promotions or incentives or major pushes, which does work. It obviously works, or people would not be doing it, right? Yes, but those get you short-term goals. So you have to constantly be giving a better price, doing a better promotion, offering more things.
Well, it can
to
be
get
a trap for some businesses. For example, the company that I buy shirts from,
Yes.
The only time I go is when they have a sale.
Yeah.
Because they've trained me that they do sales like 3 or 4 times a year.
Absolutely.
And I know it's coming.
Right.
So I'm not going to go there and pay full price because I know the sale's coming, so I'll just wait.
Yeah.
And they always do it.
Exactly.
So there's no way they're ever going to sell me a shirt at the regular price.
Absolutely. You're not going to pay full price.
Right. Ever.
Why would you do that?
Right.
Absolutely. So they always have to be coming up. And then there's always the competitor. There's always the larger stores, let's say Walmart, for an example.
Yep.
They've undercut a lot of prices on people.
Right.
If you live by the price, you die by the price, as we talk about.
Right.
So it's definitely something that, again, works for the short term, but won't necessarily get you loyalty with people. So
that's kind of a base level. We can do that if we need to survive. However, that's not where we want to live, right?
Exactly, yes. And especially when you're talking about employees. You want long-term employees. I know you've done a recent research about keeping employees and the cost of losing them. So we can get into a lot more of that after the break to continue finding out a little bit more about why we should lead with our why.
Okay, good. And one of the analogies I'm thinking about here, Michelle, is the John Maxwell's book about the 5 levels of leadership.
Yes.
The lowest rung on that ladder is positional authority. So if your employees only follow you because you're the boss, you're not going to really have a tremendous organization. You're going to get by. You might get a few things done, but you really can't reach your total successful output of your whole organization. And same thing with marketing.
Right.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
So we're talking today about a book written by Simon Sinek.
Yes, and it's a book called Start With Why. Again, this is Take Action Business Coaching. We're doing business talk today, and we decided to talk about this book. It's a very exciting concept, been around for a little while, but definitely still stands up today as far as the things that it teaches us. So we are been talking about businesses and or leaders leading with their why, which is the more emotional side. So, when you're going to buy something and you say, well, it just doesn't feel right, or I, went with my heart feeling, the why is that more emotional decision-making part of our brain, whereas otherwise, you would be leading with your what, or the results of what you're giving out, what products you have, what
analytical
services.
or rational.
Rational thing,
okay,
yep.
Okay.
And so sometimes even with the incentives that people might be giving, sometimes we do get that feeling. We're just like, hey, I don't feel good about this. I don't think it feels right.
So we're going to talk about leading people or talk about sales? Which way do you want to go?
I'd say let's go with the sales for now,
okay.
And then we can kind of get into the leading the people. So
Okay.
in Simon's book, he talks about an alternative perspective instead of leading with what you're doing. It's leading with why you're doing it. He kind of draws out a golden circle, and it looks like a target. So if you can picture a target, 3 circle with a bigger circle and another bigger circle. And on the outer circle is the what. So again, he talks about the what being what you do. You have a product or service. That is what your company does.
Right.
The how is one circle in, so second layer in, and that is more your unique selling position, or how you do what you do. What might you different,
point of differentiation,
exactly, from other places.
About.
So there might be a lot of places that sell computers, but they might have a different way that they do it.
Or roofing or siding or whatever it is.
Yes,
right.
something that makes them a little bit different from their competitors.
Okay.
However, the inner circle, or what he claims to be the most important circle, is what is the company's purpose? Why did they get involved in doing this in the first place? So some people might think that your why is to make money, and certainly we all want to make money, right? Otherwise, you really...
But sometimes that's not the primary thing, right?
However, yes, that is actually a result of what you're doing. It's not why you probably got into it, or if it's
a necessary thing, but it's not necessarily a thing that drives you.
Exactly.
Right?
And if it is, typically those are the businesses that end up failing, if they're only focused on, making money or becoming famous.
Or they may never really take off.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It might do okay for a while, but then they tend to fall apart. So, again, a lot of companies talk about more the outer circle, He uses Apple as an example of a company that really leads with their why. So Apple is all about seeing things differently. They're all about making things better.
Designing differently.
Exactly.
And designing cleanly and elegant almost.
Right. Yeah. Right? They like to see things in a different way that other people kind of change the world type of
now,
idea.
Now the phone,
like how...
I mean, this is an Apple I've got one right here.
Yeah, so just
had one for a long time.
Yeah.
And this thing hasn't changed much, and it looks about the same.
Right.
So it's it's cool. It's not as cool as it was like 6 years ago.
Exactly.
But they haven't changed much
right,
of anything.
Haven't changed
the camera's better.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. But if you think about it, as far as a company goes, they're not just a computer company. Yes, they happen to sell computers, but they also sell phones. They sell TVs. They're now in the DVRs, the MP3 players, all kinds of different things. And where other companies have tried to do the same thing, it just didn't make sense in the consumer's mind.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Why is Apple so good at this stuff?
Because they lead with their why. Because their purpose isn't about selling computers or making the fastest, coolest, best computer out there.
Okay.
They are about their customer and knowing that their customer wants to have a certain image, that they want to have a certain understanding from their company. They want to feel like they're innovative, that they're constantly changing. And again, the company has based their why on seeing the difference, on being innovative,
and
on
design,
on making the designs clean, making it look cool and
even
and
the
hip
stores.
And stuff. Right.
We were in Sydney a few weeks ago in Australia.
Yeah.
And the store is just, it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's physically nice.
Absolutely.
And things are spread out.
Right.
In a way that you would look at and go, holy cow, how many dollars per square foot is this retail space?
Yeah.
It's extremely expensive.
Yep.
But they've got 4 or 5 feet in between each phone.
Exactly.
Now, it makes sense if there's a crowd of people around a phone looking at it. I guess from that point it makes sense. But you're looking at it going, it's on 2 levels.
Yep.
A couple thousand square feet on each level. And there's hundreds of people in the store.
Yes.
But the space they take up to put a small amount of product out is amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. Very clean looking.
But it all fits with their marketing plan.
With their whole marketing plan, with the whole reason behind the company, with how they treat their customers, how they treat their employees.
Right.
Their mission is able to go to any kind of technology because they stick to the same idea. They want to still have the same looks.
And they do, when you walk into a store there or here in the U.S., within a few seconds, somebody is greeting you.
Right.
Not to jump on you like at the car dealership, but they know you walked in the door.
You there.
And they've got their own handheld, so they can do whatever they need to do right from where they are.
Exactly.
And it's the same everywhere.
Yep. And they kind of keep that along with the customer service. People that are Apple people tend to stay Apple people. So people that really got into the iPhone typically have a hard time switching over to the Samsung
I would have
or
a hard
another
time
thing.
Switching.
Absolutely.
Right.
People that are into the Mac computers are very into the Mac computers. It's a kind of an image thing that has come across. He uses an example when he talks about how they might do their sales pitch. So if they were leading with their what or doing it like other people do it
so
to be a computer company.
you can give us a little contrast. Show us a difference here.
So if they were doing it the other way, they would say, we make great computers like everyone else. They're beautifully designed and easy to use. You want to buy one. But with Apple,
so it's not you're not going to get a real emotional connection there.
Exactly. Yes. So that is going from the outside in. If we were looking at that target, so doing your what, and you might talk about your how, but you don't really ever get into your why. You just tell people we have computers. How
work.
Is that they're beautiful and they're great. Otherwise, hey, buy one. So then I'm going to start with in everything we do. We believe in challenging the status quo and thinking differently. The way we do this is to design products that are beautifully designed and easy to use. We just so happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? So it's about getting into, thinking things differently, challenging the status quo, designing products, so with the challenging the status quo, thinking differently is their why.
Yep.
Then the way we do it is design products that are beautifully designed and easy to use. That's their how. And then when we get out to the what, we just so happen to make computers because you're looking for a computer.
And they are just as good as everybody else's.
Right, exactly.
Maybe not dramatically better.
Yep, exactly. Okay. So, knowing that why and that they stuck consistently with that across the board with all of their products, they were able to beat other companies. They talked about even when the MP3 player came out, the first company to sell it was like,
hey,
we have an MP3 player. Exactly. But their lead was, we have 1,000 songs in your pocket. So it got to me, I want to carry 1,000 songs in my pocket versus what the heck's an MP3 player, know? He even talks about, different companies like Southwest is another one that their why is very important, and people, yes, it's about having fun and, enjoying just a more relaxed, fun atmosphere in your flying
paying
experience.
$25 for your bags.
Exactly. Yes. Taking away some of those things that get kind of annoying in other places. And again, Southwest has developed that loyalty that people, I'm guilty of both of these companies. They have me wrapped around their little fingers because,
Do you have an Apple computer too?
I do, yes.
I never made that switch. I've stuck with the Microsoft product because I'm used to it and they work.
Yep.
I mean, I have no complaints.
It took me a little bit to get back to it because I had used it in a previous life.
Graphic design, right?
Yes, yeah. And then I had gotten into the PC world because that's where my workplace had me. And I'm finally back to a Mac, and I got to tell you, I'm loving every second of it.
Are you really?
Yes.
Okay.
It all comes with that image and with all this stuff. So the interesting thing he talks about too with all of this, with this why and why the emotional side is so important to us, is it's actually a biology. In biology, we actually crave belonging. Going back to cavemen and all of that.
Okay.
We had to
be with a group.
Figure out to be with a group.
Well, it might have been
safer,
to survive, right? If there were 10 of us instead of one of us.
Yeah, dinosaurs walking around and everybody that wants to cause you trouble. So it all fits in together with that. And he talks about the different parts of your brain that actually go with this. So the neocortex is what responds to the what. So that's your rational thinking. Okay. It says, I need a computer. This sells computers.
Front, huh?
Check. I need a computer. This computer, cheapest. Go. So that is the part that handles that. But the limbic brain, which is where more of our feelings and emotions come from, that's where the how and why. So that's why it's important to me is what makes you different from the other computer companies, and why are you doing this anyway? What makes you better, and what makes me want to be a part of that crew?
So this concept, how would a business owner who's been running their company for 10, 20 years, how would they use some of this information to maybe re-examine their purpose?
Yeah. So I think it is really sitting down and thinking back, especially if it's the original founder of the business.
Yeah, if it's your business,
exactly.
Right?
Think back to,
wow,
the
I did it to have a job.
Right, yeah.
I was a really good contractor, so I just did it myself.
Yeah. So what really made you decide to do this? What is the feelings that entice you? And even within coaching, I talked about how we would get back to what our why is. And I think when we were all together at a conference one day, and I think we all knew our why at the beginning, and then sometimes it gets a little fuzzy. You just get in the day-to-day, go to this business, go to that business, help people.
You're on the treadmill, right?
Exactly.
You're pumping
You're
it
just
out.
running
You're getting stuff done.
Getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And even if you haven't changed that much, you may have lost focus on what it is.
Right.
So in our case, I know that we, kind of heard something and we hit what we call the blinding flashes of the obvious, or something that struck us. And we thought, our why, and all three of us came up with it separately and together, is to help people through improving their business. So it's not only to help the business owner to reduce their stress and make more money, it's to help their employees to be more happy, more engaged, more receiving more benefits. So it's our why isn't about us necessarily making money. It's about helping people to improve their lives.
The joy that you get from helping somebody else. It's great to take care of your own stuff, and it's really cool when somebody else has a great success and you had some hand in that to help them a little bit.
Right.
It makes it fun. Right.
So it might take that business owner sitting back and thinking, whether it's getting out photo albums or talking to people that knew them back then, what if I've forgotten, what is it that drove me to do this? Or as I've learned the business, what is it that gets me up in the morning if I take away making money?
Well, and you almost could take a morning some Saturday or Sunday morning and think about, well, when I'm at work, what really inspires me? What really charges me up?
Right.
Could your business use some help? Call 614-306-7922 to schedule your coaching session. 614-306-7922. Now, here's more business talk.
Well, we're talking today about a book by Simon Sinek, and it's about your why.
Yes, about starting with your why. And again, this right now we're applying it really to a business as a whole, but we can also apply that to, you as a leader and or the leaders within that business. And again, it could be towards a movement. He even talks about Martin Luther King,
I'm thinking about a couple of our clients, and you may have a couple too, Michelle. We've got one that's in Dallas, actually, and he has got himself reinvigorated, and his business is growing very, very quickly, 20% in the last 3 years. And he has found, again, his passion for sales. He's hired several people. We've helped him hire a much larger team, but he's out in the field more, and he's much happier.
Good.
Because he loves seeing the people. He works on he sells equipment that's used in collision repair shops all over the country, but they have this large territory, 8 states in the Southwest. And anyway, he's out in the shops talking to the guys who are running the shops, talking to these owners.
Yeah.
And he just loves being out there. He knows the equipment very well, but that's the part he's passionate about.
Right. Yeah.
And his why is really obvious. I mean, he just loves helping
better
people.
To sell his why than
get the stuff done, and he's good enough at it where it's great for his business, and that's where he should be.
Absolutely.
Because he enjoys it, he's good at it, and he teaches the other salespeople when he needs to.
Yeah.
But he can do it himself effortlessly.
Yes.
And even if you have a large business, you can still interject yourself into the places that you're passionate about.
Right.
But you need to find your passion, I guess.
Absolutely.
For him, he learned again that that's really what he wants to do. He doesn't want to be involved in a lot of the, to him, more mundane aspects of running a business. He's delegated most of it successfully, which is part of our
system and what
you
we do.
need to define your version of success. To him, that's it.
Yeah.
Allow me to get out there and do the stuff I love.
Do what I want to do.
And I don't want to mess with this other stuff.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. So, we have the one you talked to, one of my clients, John Willett with 4 Points Development. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out pull out the why to make sure every decision that we make within his business is congruent with that. And, his is to give a great real estate experience to people, because so many people have had negative or not so great, not outstanding, exhausting real estate experiences. You feel like you've been in a
meat grinder, right?
Yes. Yeah. So when they choose, what clients that they want to work with, what businesses they want to help with their real estate development or property management, anything along their business, and that's why their business has got so many areas to it, because it doesn't matter what part of commercial real estate you need help with. They want to help you and make it a great experience. So their why has to be with...
So the technical skill has to be there,
yes,
right? That's
course.
necessary.
Yeah.
And all the intricacies with building a big building or developing a piece of property, all that, they've got to have that.
Absolutely.
They've also got, and they're fun.
Yes.
So they've got that fun part and the ability to inspire people and get people excited.
Right.
That's part of their competitive advantage, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's part of their competitive advantage and why they show up to work every day.
Okay.
If they didn't enjoy it, why are you doing it if you don't enjoy it? Right. So it's keeping that why. So, within these businesses, again, why it is successful to lead with your why is because people, again, have that human need, that human desire to want to belong, to want to be part of a crew. And also it brings trust. So if you have company, a relationship, or a similar beliefs with them, you will more likely trust that company.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy for companies, even with their, to get repeat business because they keep giving them better offers and better deals. Again, trying to
price.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you might get them back through the door, but one time you make a mistake and they are gone forever.
There's no connection there.
No connection, no loyalty, anything. Whereas if you actually have that trust, those aligned beliefs, and have proven yourself over and over again to be a company that moves with that, you may make a mistake. We're human businesses run by humans. The mistakes are going to happen.
And eventually we will make a mistake.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
But if you respond to that situation with the same why and the same beliefs and systems that you already have set up, you will be able to keep that loyal customer because they know that you're going to always make it right. You're always
This is Business Talk with Michelle and Pete.
And so we're talking about Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, and how this relates to business and other things. So an example of this is outside of a business, but ended up drawing to growth. was the Wright brothers in building the first plane. So they, had this passion. They had this dream. They didn't have the funding. They didn't have the press. They didn't have any.
They had some bicycles.
Exactly, to be famous. But they just had this belief that this could happen and that it would change the world and make transportation, a new thing. So they, fought with their own blood, sweat, and tears and got their community behind them, helping them through the weekends and going through all this drama. And at the same time, there was a man named Samuel Langley that wanted the same thing. He was kind of going for the same idea. And he had the backing of financial institutions and the press followed him around.
Big companies back then.
Exactly. All these people. And they were on the same mission,
path.
Really. Yeah. But he was leading with wanting to have fame and fortune, whereas the Wright brothers were leading with wanting to have this work. They had this dream, they had this idea. Exactly. Yeah. And so ultimately the Wright brothers did end up being the first to get it done, and without too much hubbub or press until a few days after they even succeeded. And right away, Mr. Langley dropped out. Didn't, he could have been like, hey, that was cool. Now I can improve on that, or I can learn from what you learned and maybe make something even better. But he was done. He realized the fame and fortune was not coming in this path and moved on to something else. And therefore the fame is gone for him. So, we also talk about something we look at a lot with companies, the law of diffusion of innovation. So if you, again, want people to come with you on a new idea, on something that might change the world or change the way things are done, you need to hit those innovators or those early adopters. So if you're looking at a bell curve, to the left side of the bell curve, you have the 2.5% that are innovative and into that. And then right after that.
So that's a consumer that might be willing to take a chance on buying something that might never take off.
Yeah. Right? Or the people that are coming up with the ideas of how to do that too. And then the next, a little further on the bell curve, you have the early adopters. So again, those are the people that follow right after those innovators. They're the ones standing in line at Apple, waiting 6 hours for the next Apple phone. Like you said,
the very first version of the next phone.
Of the next thing, of the next computer, of whatever, they are totally engaged. And, and in the middle section, you have the early majority or the late majority. And that's a big chunk. It's about 70% of the buying population is those early majorities or late majorities. And so, you have to be able to cross that threshold from getting the innovators and the early adopters to get the majority to follow them.
And how do you do that?
How do you do that is really by getting those innovators and early adopters to be so in love with your company and so bought into your ideals and your why that you are going to get them to do the selling for you, to be that marketing machine out there.
To not just
saying,
be consumer or customers, but to be advocates.
Exactly. Yeah, because those early majorities, they really need convinced. They need you to show them some proof. Not maybe as much as the late majority, but I need to see that this thing is going to blow up in your hand, Pete. If I give you this new phone, I need to make sure that it's actually able to do all the things that here it's supposed to do. So it's called the tipping point. 15 to 18% of consumers, you need to get over that point if you're going to get that majority in. But again, you have to be able to stay true to your message in order to get people to not be swayed, because that majority, they're a finicky little bunch and they can definitely go another way if you aren't really promising and sticking with what you think.
So how do I know it's working? I've got my marketing going and I'm growing.
Yes.
How do I know if I'm getting close to this?
Well, checking your conversion rate, which is something that we look at, people. So as far as you have so many people interested or finding out information about your product or service, what percentage of the people that inquire about your business or about your product or service are actually buying.
So keeping track of all that.
So keeping track of all that. And, doing some surveys with your innovators and your early adopters to find out what their thoughts are and not necessarily, you could call that group the influencers, and that's definitely a very popular thing in the world now, is these online influencers. And sometimes people just buy them off, like, hey, you have a big following on social media. Let me give you some money to promote my product. That's fine. But if they really aren't a true somebody
they're
who's
not a real
following
believer.
your beliefs, they're going to be on to the next thing next week, and the people that follow them are going to follow them wherever they go.
Okay.
So you really need to find a way to, again, lead with your why. Teach people how to do that. And then I think after the break, we'll get a little bit more into actual leadership and hiring and finding the team and the culture that goes along with
that will help
your
you
why.
Exercise this.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And also, we'll mention when we get back some details about our next 90-day planning session that's happening on Friday morning at 8:30 in Grandview, and we'll get you a couple tickets if you give us a call.
Yeah.
To learn more about today's topic, call 614-306-7922. Now, back to more business talk.
All right. Well, we're talking today about a book by Simon Sinek, and he's a British gentleman.
Yes.
And he wrote this book about your why, about your business, and I think personally as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly. So, he there's so many lessons that you can learn from him in this book, I guess, personally, about being a leader and about being a company that follows through. And so your why, again, is the more emotional side, or what your purpose is behind your business, what originally got you into the business.
Okay.
Again, I used our example of, changing people's lives through helping their business. If we help them to be less stressed and in pain at work, both the owners, the leaders, and the people that work there, we make their personal lives better because they're not taking home the stress and the troubles into their marriage and to their kids or friends and taking it out on them.
And maybe actually going home in the first place.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's so many stories that, we could tell if we really got in. Could be a whole radio show about saving people's lives through helping them in their business and changing what their own vision for their own life is. So in this case, though, again, he's talking about leaders and businesses and keeping that emotional attachment as to why you're doing it, because it's so easy to just get caught up, especially these large businesses that have a whole board to get approval from, and maybe have to deal with the stock market and how their numbers are churning. It's easy to really lose sight and just be focused on those numbers and not necessarily on why you got into the business. So he talks about within businesses, typically, the top leader or the original visionary is the why person, and their job as a leader is to make sure they are constantly pushing that why, keeping it real, making sure that people hear and understand what the purpose, what their ultimate purpose is, and then also kind of being able to filter out when things aren't on message with that. So he uses a very simple example he calls the celery test, and he says, if you
not celery, the pay, the celery, the vegetable, absolutely, that we should just be eating all day, every day. Right?
Yeah, right. So if you,
I'm a carrot person personally. I'll eat celery, but I'd prefer a carrot.
Absolutely. Oftentimes when you're a business owner, you're getting advice from all kinds of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you
No
happen
doubt.
to mention a problem's going on, or you don't even mention it, people just decide the problem you have going on, and you're getting all kinds of advice from your friends. So in this simple example, he says there's a range of friends, and they say, you know what you need in your business? And they say Oreos, rice, milk, M&Ms, and celery. So you're like, okay, well, these people are all telling me these are the things I need. I need Oreos, rice, milk, M&Ms, and celery. So you go to the supermarket and you're ready to buy it all and put it all in your cart. And then the people behind you are kind of like, this is interesting. This person is healthy and not so much. Like, what's going on this belt here? And if you think about it, in this case, their business is really focused on health and doing the right thing for your body. So the things that make sense if they're going with a healthy living is to only get the rice, milk, and celery. So in a result, you're spending less money on your business, and it's in line with what your business is about, which is healthy living. So if you are thinking of your why, any decision that you need to make within your business needs, as he says, to fit the celery test. So it needs to be in line with what your messaging is. So again,
so what
M&Ms
happened to the
and
Oreos?
I ate them.
Okay. All right, good.
Yes.
Or Alan, our producer.
Yeah, Alan might have taken them and eaten them. So, making sure, and again, that's kind of a silly example, but it's, easy to say, okay, if you're focused on healthy living, the Oreos and the M&Ms may not fit into what you should be spending your time and money on.
Or some companies get into a side business within their business that really doesn't fit.
Yes, it doesn't.
And the team is kind of, oh, we could do it, boss.
Right.
But should we do it?
Yes,
exactly.
So
you really do need to ask some questions.
Absolutely.
You do a little gravity check. And maybe check with a trusted advisor that doesn't work for you.
Yes.
to give you a little bit of advice.
Right, yeah.
Should we get into this, and how would it affect our passion about our original mission?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Is it going to distract us or drive us?
Right. Absolutely. It's keeping it clear, keeping it real, making sure it goes in. And as a leader of the company, even if you aren't that owner, aren't that one with that original mission, if you truly are a leader within that company, you need to be able to buy into the purpose of the company. You need to be able to buy into.
That's not the right place
exactly.
for you.
Yep. And lead people in that way and make own decisions within your own department or things. If we're really into, again, healthy living at this, I shouldn't be buying pizza every day for my team or whatever.
Once a week, you'd be fine.
Exactly, little treats here and there, but I need to stay with it because certainly. When you don't stick with your why, like you said, things can get a little bit fuzzy when you start to go down a path in the business that doesn't make sense.
And as a leader, your employees are going to follow your example, and they may get distracted. And pretty soon, your whole mission may be a little fuzzy.
Absolutely, yes. So, you need to keep that cause that's greater than yourself. You need to keep the passion going in what they do. So, he talks about when the lines get a little fuzzy, when things go wrong, again, Walmart being an example that honestly, when they came out in business originally, the why was to help and serve people.
Right.
And they, did do a discount method of selling goods. However, they, at the original time, took really good care of their employees, and their why was to take good care of their employees, to be able to be helpful by discounting prices to the people in the world that needed a little help getting cheaper prices, and then also bringing jobs and stuff to different areas. However, along the way, they kind of lost sight of that. They forgot their why, forgot their purpose, and they stopped caring about their employees. And that's when, things kind of went awry for them. So you got to be able to stick with that, make sure that it fits in with what your why is, and keep the vision alive and clear, constantly be rechecking. So I would say businesses that are out there, leaders that are out there, should really stop and think. Like you said, take some time. Maybe it's away from the office. Maybe it's a Saturday or Sunday, or a time when you're going to go off and do almost a retreat with yourself to
or
review
with your key leaders,
with your key leaders, and look at the business and really think, are we on course? Are we not? And then use that also when you are looking for people to be within your team. So making
sure.
So
you're thinking about hiring.
Yes, exactly. When you're thinking about hiring someone, really think about, do they fit our culture? Do they fit our why? Are they in line with our core beliefs?
Right.
Because skill can be taught, and we talk about it all the time. Personality is harder to change. It's harder to really beat somebody over the head and make them think that to believe your beliefs if they aren't truly believing it. You have to be able to share that in both your marketing for a new person, really put your message out there so that it is in line with what your purpose of your business is, and, find ways throughout the interview process to see how closely they match to that, when they're doing some personality profiling to, have a lot of different people.
Well, and asking questions that will surface whether or not the person believes in your core beliefs.
Yes,
and see if they line up with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
So, finding ways to do that, again, getting the team's buy-in when you're bringing new people in to make sure that
that's why we use a team approach.
Right. Yeah.
Our hiring process includes the team.
Yes. We always want to encourage those group interviews. You want to encourage, more people to give their feedback on this person, again, because skill can be taught. You just have to really be looking for, and as you know, you and I have both seen that bringing in the wrong fit can change a culture quickly.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Besides costing you money.
Exactly. Right.
Time and effort wasted, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So bring in that person, and they might start their own why. They might lead, especially if you bring in the wrong leader. They may have their own vision.
And we can
goals
avoid
of what
that by
company is.
using a great hiring process. And
Exactly.
if you're interested in that, we can talk to you about that.
Absolutely.
This book, would you recommend it to somebody else?
I definitely would recommend it. I would recommend that you read it in whatever real purpose. If you have any kind of following that you want to have, whether it's because of a mission that you're taking up or a movement that you want to do, whether you are a leader within a company or a leader within an organization, and or if you own your own business or thinking of starting your own business. It's definitely one of those things that I think people really should take a look at, take time to reflect, because, again, it's not something that they might just think of off the top of their heads. They may really have to think, what is the purpose greater than money that I am running this business for? And get into that and really look at everything, all the decisions you made within your company and how you're going to implement this and keep it alive.
Okay. So Friday, we're doing our 90-day plan.
We are.
And Michelle, do you want to describe what we do?
Yes, absolutely. So every 90 days, that's why we call it
Oddly
the 90-day
enough.
plan. We have all of our clients as well as other businesses come in together to learn, to network, and most importantly, to come up with what their goals are for the next 90 days.
Right.
Because we oftentimes in business, we call it working in your business instead of on your business.
Right. This is an opportunity to do on.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. So you're just surviving day to day, and you may not take the time to even review the goals that you might have had for the year and see if you're in line with them, to come up with new ideas based on things that have changed over the last quarter, to push yourself past where you got. Maybe you already hit all your goals for the year. Okay, well, we need to keep pushing, right?
You can take a day and be with other like-minded people and listen to our coaches and listen to the other business owners in the room and the people at your table who've been through it before. And we always have a learning segment. So we'll have a learning segment about leverage. And we'll take you through a guided process to create a plan for the fourth quarter.
Right. So you leave there, you have your strategies and action steps that you or someone on your team are going to do in order to get you to the goals that you want to get, and taking that time. But it is amazing, all these different businesses and industries, they get together and can help each other out. And it's interesting the things you'll learn from companies not at all related to yours.
And they all have similar challenges, and we all need customers. We all have employees. We all have systems that we may or may not use or need or have documented. So there's always opportunities for improvement, but it's kind of amazing how similar businesses are, even though they're not in the same industry.
Yes.
People learn from each other very quickly, and it's a good use of your time. If you want to be involved, give us a call, 614-306-7922.
This has been Business Talk, your business, your success. Sponsored by Take Action Business Coaching. The opinions expressed were those of the participants and may not be the views of the staff, advertisers, and owners of the station. Advice given was not intended to replace that of your business advisor. For more information about the topics discussed today, call 614-306-7922. 614-306-7922. Tune in next week at this time for more Business Talk, your business, your success.